I like the fx6 a lot better than the Red Komodo, and here's why. Now, quick disclaimer before we get into today's video. This is not going to be a whole video bashing the Red Komodo, saying that it's not a good camera compared to the fx6. None of that, because the fx6 and the Red Komodo are both amazing cameras. But I have seen a lot of videos on YouTube comparing the fx6 and the Red Komodo, and I just feel like they're not given a true financial reality of how much the fx6 and the Red Komodo truly cost straight out the box. And that's what I'm making this comparison on. The Red Komodo is an amazing camera. At the end of the day, there's no such thing as a better cinema camera or the best cinema camera. It's all based off preference, personal opinions, and what you need it for. Because at the end of the day, they're all amazing cameras. I just want you to make a good purchase. This video is for everybody who's in the price range of $6,000 and they want to get a good cinema camera, but they don't know the realities of what you have to purchase additionally when buying a cinema camera. Now, with all that being said, we can get into the video. So for the last month and a half, I actually had the opportunity to be using a Red Komodo. I've been a part of a project, it's a buddy's project of mine, and he's creating a short film. And obviously, his camera of choice is a Red Komodo. He hired me to be the DP of the project while he's the director of the project. So I have full hands-on experience with the Red Komodo, and this was my first time using a Red Komodo. Now, there's just some things that I wish I knew about Red Komodo that honestly would have made my life a little bit easier if I prepared for it. So the Red Komodo straight out the box is not a $6,000 camera. It's a $6,000 base camera. But straight out the box, you have to spend several thousands of dollars just to get it borderline functional compared to the fx6. Now the Red Komodo, it doesn't come with a side grip, and it doesn't come with a top handle, and it doesn't come with a battery. The fx6, you spend $6,000, you're getting the top handle, you're getting the side grip, and you're getting the battery. These are additional costs that you now have to spend on the Red Komodo. Again, which is not a big issue if you have the money for it, but if you're thinking that you're just gonna buy a $6,000 camera, that's not the case. The Red Komodo, in my opinion, doesn't even come with a usable monitor. It comes with a small 2.9-inch monitor on top of the camera, which in my opinion is completely unusable. The fx6, it comes with a small monitor as well, but with the fx6, it gives you an option to even mount the monitor on different locations on the body of the camera. I think that's very helpful. With the Red Komodo, it's only on top of the camera, so if you put it on a gimbal and you have the gimbal way up in the air, it's really not practical, and honestly it's utterly useless in my opinion. But nevertheless, the fx6 and the Red Komodo monitor, they're both small, but it's just the fx6 to me is just more usable. Now another big issue that I ran into with the Red Komodo is the audio. I really wanted to use my professional sounding Sennheiser microphone for XLR audio, but when I went to plug in my Sennheiser to the Red Komodo, there was no XLR input at all on that camera, which is a big bummer because now I can't use my Sennheiser microphone to capture professional audio. So now what that means, in order to get professional audio on the Red Komodo, you're gonna have to buy an additional recorder or time sync in order to get XLR audio. Again, that's just adding up. This $6,000 base camera is just adding up quickly and quickly and quickly. And that's not the end of it. Another thing is the Red Komodo does not have built-in ND filters like the fx6. Now yes, everybody brags about that, but it's true. Once you use variable ND filters that are built in, you're truly spoiled. Like, you just have the world at your hands. It's so much faster, so much more convenient. With the Red Komodo, $6,000, it's a cinema camera, you don't have built-in ND filters. My idea of a cinema camera is I think that it should have built-in ND filters. That's what I think about when I hear of a cinema camera, you know. And it's sad that the Red Komodo doesn't have it, but that shouldn't really make or break you, because if you came from a mirrorless body, you probably already have variable ND filters. So, but for the convenience of it, the fact that there's other cinema cameras that do have built-in ND filters like the fx6, like the C70, it's just something I wish Red would have put into their Komodo lineup. Now, another thing you should be aware about when buying the Red Komodo is it doesn't have HDMI ports. So if you want to use an external monitor that has HDMI ports, you're gonna have to either switch to SDI ports, or you're gonna have to buy a brand new monitor that has SDI ports on it. Any monitor that you previously owned that has HDMI, you're not going to be able to use it unless you buy an adapter to connect it to the Red Komodo. Now, it's not a big issue if you don't have any monitors already, then you're good. But if you're like me and you already have monitors that have HDMI, now you got to get an adapter, and that's just, again, more money piling up. Versus the fx6, it has HDMI ports on it, it has XLR inputs on it, you're good to go. You don't have to spend any additional money on it at all. Now, with all that I explained to you so far, in my opinion, that leaves the Red Komodo completely unusable straight out the box compared to the fx6. The FX6 straight out the box, you get a top handle, you get XLR inputs, you get HDMI, you get a side grip, you get built-in ND filters, you get all the things that you were looking for in a cinema camera at no additional cost. It already comes with the camera. So in reality, straight out the box, the FX6 is more of a true run and gun. All you really need to buy is a lens. That's it. You don't have to spend additional money on the FX6 to rig it out. You can if you want to, but it's an option. With the Red Komodo, you don't have that option. It's more of a you have to do that. But now, the Red Komodo is still a fantastic camera. The image out of it, in my opinion, is probably by far one of the best images out there for a cinema camera. But I don't think the FX6 is too far off. I honestly really think it's about 10 to 15% maybe far off, maybe less than a Red Komodo. But honestly, they're both very, very clean, beautiful images out the box. No doubt about that. But in all honesty, if you're willing to spend that much money in order to get your Red borderline functional, I guess it is a benefit, you know, because now you get a Red sticker on your camera that shows that you're Red certified. And I guess that means you're able to shoot with any Hollywood movie star now, right? Now, to talk about some cons with the FX6, you do, if you don't know already, lose audio if you remove the top handle. So if you want to throw it on a gimbal, it's okay, it can go on a gimbal. The Red Komodo can also go on a gimbal, but with the FX6, you're going to lose audio. With the Red Komodo, you'll still have your audio because you have the 3.5mm jack port. Now for me, I personally don't use gimbals, so that wasn't a make or break for me at all. But for some of you watching, it might be a make or break for you. You might always use gimbal work. Now, one important thing I do want to add is the ergonomic factor of both cameras. Now, this is subjective to opinions, but if we're really going to base it off two form factors, I really think it should be comfort and form factor. FX6, in my opinion, does feel a lot better. The Red Komodo is just a box. You know, you're holding just a square box. And if you don't rig it out, it can honestly feel very uncomfortable. With the FX6, if I don't rig it out, if I just use the top handle and the side grip, it feels good. You know, even if I use just the top handle, it still feels good. With the Komodo, a box, it can hurt your fingers, it can clunk up, it can just, you know, I just think if we're really gonna base it off the ergonomics and our deciding factor if we're gonna purchase this camera or not, either camera, I think it should really be based off the form factor and the comfort of it. Is it a comfortable camera? Is it something that you're willing to hold 8, 10, 12 hours a day if you're doing documentaries, if you're doing commercial, if you're doing corporate, whatever it is you're using it for? I think that should be one of the most important factors you should think about when purchasing a camera. Not just only the specs, not just only what it can do. I think we all should be able to want and buy a comfortable camera, something that we can hold and have zero issues with, something we're going to enjoy holding and not complain that it's way too heavy or it's way too funnily formed like the Blackmagic. But just the form factor, that's very important, especially if you're spending $6,000 on a camera to rig it up to be more than $10,000. That's a very important factor you should really take into consideration. Now, all honesty, of all that being said, I hoped I can help you make your purchase decision. Again, I'm not making this video to bash Red. I'm not making this video to brag about the FX6. I'm making this video because I've seen way too many videos of people not giving a reality of how much financially it's going to cost in owning a Red. A lot of people are just thinking, okay, $6,000, boom, I buy a Red, I buy a top handle, I buy a side grip, I'm done. They don't know how much money that top handle, that side grip, that monitor is gonna cost for the Red. Not only the SD cards, the memory cards, the storage, how much storage the Red eats up, the workflow. One thing I noticed was the workflow with the Red. It slowed down my workflow so much compared to the FX6. It is a lot more difficult workflow, especially if you do not have the proper computer for it. At the end of the day, whatever you choose, whatever it may be, this is just a tool that's gonna tell your beautiful story. It's an amazing, expensive tool, but it's gonna tell it beautifully if you learn the camera. Make your decision, make your purchase. I hope that I can help you with your financial purchase. Don't make a mistake. Don't buy something you don't need. Don't buy something that's gonna put you in debt. Buy what you want, buy what you know that you're gonna love, stick with it, keep it for a couple of years. These cameras you can keep for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. There is no reason to switch once you buy the FX6, the Red Komodo, the C70, the Blackmagic Ursa. If you buy those cameras, they're made to last. Don't upgrade, don't switch, keep it. There's no reason to. It's an amazing camera, whatever you purchase. Without further ado, hope you enjoyed today's video. My name is Delandre. I'm a film director, a videographer, DP based in Orlando, Florida. If you live in Orlando, leave in the comment section below. I'm gonna DM you, I'm gonna hit you up, maybe we can do something. Without further ado, get out there and get creative. Abiantu, buongiorni.